Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. So in today's video,
I didn't listen when it was told to me, so maybe I can help somebody else out. Please, please, please do not move in with your boyfriend or girlfriend until you're married, or unless you know for certain they're the one. Because I get not everybody aspires to marriage, but just always be careful. And even when you live with somebody, always have your own, because if things go left or you have to move out or whatever the situation is, like, you need to make sure that you're taken care of and that you're okay. And I didn't listen, so please be smarter than me, be better than me.
and I know that she's going to do okay. I think she is getting her degree, so I'm sure she's going to be fine. I think in another video she spoke about moving back home with her parents. Okay, now in other videos, previous videos I've posted, I've spoken about, why you shouldn't move in with a guy. And most of the times there are people in the comment section saying, how do you know how they are like if you don't move in with them? And to be honest, I feel like you can figure that out. You don't have to move in with a guy to be able to figure out how they are. But then again, I may be wrong, and that's okay, right? But I don't believe you have to move in with them to figure out if they are good people or bad people, or if, their intentions are right about you. Through conversation and the right questions, they'll tell you about themselves if only you are willing to listen. So always have a plan after the plan after the plan, because with these modern guys, you never know.
When I was 24 years old, my grandmother gave me some very sage advice. May her soul rest in peace. She said to me, if you ever live with a man, make sure you have your own money and make sure you have your own things. Because it doesn't matter how much you love that man and you think that man love you, a man is still a man, so always have a plan for yourself. And that never left me. I was always a saver because I grew up with my grandmother, and that's what old people do, specifically children of the Depression, and she grew up poor in Jamaica, so I always saved. But on that day, I made an extra effort where I always had something put to the side where you keep that to yourself. That is your break glass in case of an emergency plan. Because you could have the best man in the world, and some people do, and they never have to use it, or they use it for both people in the relationship. But just in case something happened, always have your other plan, even if it's $1,000 to get out of where you are because it has become unsafe, or $10,000 for you to go start a whole new life somewhere completely different. Sidebar, and this is the other reason why I think nursing is important. Nursing is not a get-rich-quick scheme, right? Are there avenues you can take with your nursing license to make a lot of money? Yes, but nursing provides you with a set of skills that if you are in a bad situation, you have a clean license, you can go start over, make you some money, and take care of yourself and your kids. So ladies, stay vigilant and always have a plan.
This lady shared a story of a guy who was planning to get into a relationship just so that he could get to a certain place in his life or something like that. Take a look.
Don't move in. Don't move in. It's a manipulation tactic if he says, I want to take the relationship to the next level. A friend of one of my friends wanted to be a financial influencer, and this is how he made it happen. He told my friend that he'll find a gullible lady who will move in with him, and he will fake a relationship to get laid so he can save money. As his girlfriend is splitting the bills, living with him, cooking and cleaning, being a free chef, free maid, free escort, he has been renting a Ferrari and had the finances to start his, YouTube, etc., finance influencer business, and is attracting Instagram models. He hasn't dumped her yet because he can't afford to keep the Instagram models, but when his business will finally reach its peak, that's what he'll do.
Yeah. And this is usually the case with a lot of guys who go into relationships. But most of us do not look at relationships the way men look at relationships. A lot of men go into relationship for the benefit, like what is in it for them. How am I going to use this situation to better myself? Okay, like she said, he needed someone to split the bills with him. He needed someone to cook for him. He needs someone to have sex with while he is trying to build and save up for his dream, Right? So I think the solution to most of these things is for us women to start looking at relationships, if you want a relationship, the way men treat relationships. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of women who do that as well. They go into relationships with men when they know for certain that they can't afford that kind of lifestyle on their own, which is a very, very, very wrong and bad move.
If you can't afford to live in an apartment by yourself and pay rent by yourself, you should not move in with your boyfriend, okay? Because you're going to be in a relationship with him and you're not going to want to be in it anymore, but you're not going to break up with him because you have an apartment. You just moved out of your parents' house and you don't want to go back home because that's embarrassing. So you're just going to prolong this terrible, terrible relationship when you would have been out if you could have paid for rent by yourself and lived by yourself, but you couldn't. Like, just don't do that to yourself. Just don't move in if you can't afford rent by yourself. Just wait a little bit, get a little money, and then move out.
Hey, if you can't stand on your own 2 feet, don't jump on somebody's back to help you cross the river, because when they get angry with you, they'll drop you into that river and you drown. If you're going to do a relationship, please have a plan. All right, of how you're going to execute it. All right, think about yourself in all things. Think about yourself, like how are you going to move from point A to point B? What is that guy going to do for you? How is he going to be beneficial to your life? Because the thing is, we are always going to be nurturing. We are always going to be the ones, putting ourselves there, sacrificing and giving and so on.
One thing we should all learn from men as women is putting ourselves first. Yeah. A man will leave a woman with kids all because he's putting himself first. Man will choose to cheat on you all because he's putting his happiness first. Yeah. A man will lie to you all because he's protecting his peace. So in conclusion, as a woman, stop being selfless and start being a little bit more selfish. Yeah. Put yourself first, because men will always put themselves first. And don't feel guilty about it at all.
Ladies, stop moving in with these men. You meet a man, he's broken emotionally, physically. You take your time to heal him. You cook for him. You clean for him. You love on him. You pray for him. You even spend some of your money on him. He's whole and healed and he said, bye. You have nothing to show for it. In most states, common law is not recognized, and a verbal agreement to provide is unenforceable. Listen, if you are going to be with a man, he need to put a ring on it, your finger, and marry you, or he needs to put a deed in your name, not a lease, but a deed to show that you are the owner. Listen, time out for being with bums who are bosses and all they want to do is fine dine you, take you to exotic places, buy you designer clothes and bags, and then when they leave, you have nothing else to show for. A real boss wants to make sure that he takes care of you emotionally, financially, and physically. But it's time out for moving in with these men. It's not worth it. Your time, your love, and your resources are too valuable. Stop living with these men. If they don't want to put a ring on it and marry you, or they don't want to put a deed in your name, say la vie, baby.
Barriers to marriage.
You know what's really getting me though? I see a lot of people in her comments saying, well, you won't really know who somebody really is until you move in and you get to really see what they're... And to a certain extent, I'm not going to deny that. You could genuinely find out exactly who somebody is, or even more about somebody when you're in the same space as them 24/7, right? I also feel like a lot of people aren't really learning from other folks' mistakes, right? You don't have to go to full length to go live with somebody to figure out exactly who they are. People are not Oscar award winning actors. If you're paying attention to how they speak, how they carry themselves, right? Certain things about it's really about paying attention, paying close attention to what's going on in front of you. You don't have to move in to find this out. I try to live this life in the humblest way possible. I'm learning from everybody. I'm learning from their experiences, right? I'm not going to sit here and say because I'm me, it's going to be completely different for me. Does that make me live in fear? No. What it allows me to do is find different routes, figure out different ways to find people out. That's literally what that allows me to do. Let me tell y'all something, right? I would much rather eat rocks for the rest of my life than move in with somebody I'm not married to. Stay away from me. We could spend hours together, you know what I mean? We could go out, we could do what? Sleep over, but go home. out of y'all mind.
Yeah, I'm so glad that she mentioned a deed instead of a lease. And if he's not ready for marriage, do not do the moving in with him, right? And that is true because all you're going to end up with are some Instagram reels here and there and photographs of when he took you to here and and if that's what you are into, that's fine. You go and get that, okay? If you are not looking for anything serious and you just want to have a good time and this guy is offering you that good time and you want to take that, take it by all means, okay? No strings attached. That's you, right? But if you want a relationship, you have to ask for more. All right. You have to ask for more. You have to get them to do more than just putting your name on the list, because a guy who wants to sabotage you will leave you with a hefty rent to pay. Or when he decides that, he's tired of you and needs another girl and he decides to dump you, that's when you realize that that was not a flex after all, right? So think about these things strategically, before you go into relationships with these. And yeah, I've said it and I'll always say, you don't have to move in with them to figure out if, they have good intentions about you, if they really want a committed relationship. You don't have to. Conversations will tell you that. If only you are willing to listen, right? If you're willing to listen, you know the kind of guy you're dealing with. And besides, a lot of guys end up becoming, is it complacent when you end up with them, especially if you're looking for marriage, okay? If you're looking for marriage and you're already doing, things that married people do, and you've moved in with him and you're doing all these things, sometimes they just become lazy, they don't care anymore, and they move on to the next woman, right? And that's when they start mistreating you and doing all sort of things to you. So, like I said, at the end of the day, it's your life. You decide what you want to do with it. But hey, if the topic is there, we are going to talk about it. You do it and tell us the outcome. If you think that moving in with a man is the way, now this only works if you don't want a marriage. Not everybody wants marriage, and that's fine, right? But if you think that is how you want to do it, then by all means you do it, and let's see how it goes for you. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you again with another video. Bye.